everybody. My name is Karen Wilson, and I am honored to be the president of this club this year. The following people would please come forward. We have Ron Barrick doing an invocation for Steve. He's not here to read it. Whoops, I forgot this. Okay. And Nathan Weinstead is going to come up, and he's going to do the pledge. And Felix Boston will be doing milestones.
Please bow with me. Our dear Heavenly Father, we meet here as Rotarians and friends of Rotarians to give thanks for the many blessings that you've given to us. We give thanks for our health. We give thanks for the country that we live in, the freedoms that we're able to enjoy. We give thanks for this beautiful day that you provided to us. We give thanks for the meal that you provided to us. We ask that you look out after those who were unable to be here today, provide leadership ability for our national and state governments, local governments, so that we can be a better country and better people as you would desire. In thy precious name we pray. Amen. Amen.
If you would, please face the flag and follow me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're supposed to stand up here and all this? Sure, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Rotarians, milestones, member birthdays, Shelley Rodecker, August the 31st. It'd be more fun if they would put her birthdays on there. Spouse's birthday, Taylor Buchanan, 6th September. Lynn Morris, same date. Kathy Sweeney, same date, 6th of September. Anniversaries, Ray and Beth Barone, 22 years. On August the 31st, club anniversaries, Natasha Drum Cole, 4 years, September 6th. Salute.
Thank you all. If you want to go ahead and have a seat. I want to make you all aware that Henry Yu is filming the meeting today, and then he puts it on YouTube, and we can actually use it for makeup or to help promote our club. All right, if you brought a guest today, would you please introduce your guest? Would you please stand and introduce your guest?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm really excited today. I get to share a guest with David Kellerman, so thank you for the opportunity. Many of you know Jim Wilson is a local community member, and while he's one of those Sertomans, in all the time I've known Jim, I've never known anyone to put service above self more than him. So we are excited to have Jim here with us today. And I also brought Reagan, who was eating my lunch.
President Karen, fellow Rotarians and guests, I'm pleased to introduce my good friend Colette McCullough. She is the Director of Marketing for Pro Water Systems.
My guest is Janelle McNeil. She's Senior Vice President at First Texas Bank, and her application is on the table over there, so she'll be joining us.
And I have a few guests with me today. So far right, I've got Christine, I still can't say it right, Tomaszewski or something like that. Tomaszewski, thank you. She's here from Georgetown. I have got David Valdez, who spent the last 30 or so years in Washington, D.C., is relocated to Georgetown. He used to be the photographer for President George Bush. I have got Elizabeth Pinkerton, who is also from Georgetown here, and then Angela Pinkerton as well, who has holistic wellness and primary care. So,
welcome.
My name is Ron Meyer. I'd like to introduce some friends and fellow Rotarians. This is Rick Naylor and Martin Fry. They're both from the Northwest Austin Rotary Club, but they're also on a board of directors for the Partnership Against Child Trafficking, and I think they gave a presentation a couple months ago. Okay, welcome to the club.
Okay, welcome to all of you. Are there any visiting Rotarians? Okay, thank you all so much. Oh, we have one, there we go.
So I'm Tiffany Enos, and I'm currently a member of the Sun City Rotary Club. To be transferred, I think my membership is effective tomorrow for the Downtown Rotary Club. So thank you all. Glad to be here.
Welcome. Okay, is that everyone? Well, Marissa brought us some tickets that Joe gave her to distribute to folks in this club that are interested. Tomorrow night is the first Southwestern football game, and I'm not sure who they play, and I think Marissa just, who? Denison? Okay. So anyway, there's 14 free tickets, first come, first serve. Elizabeth has them over here. So if you want to let her know that you're interested and pick them up from her, that'd be great. And thank you so much, Joe Austin. Okay, at this time, I would like to ask David Messering to come up, and he has some presentation for our membership.
But Janelle's application is on the table for the first week, so please feel free to introduce yourselves and start talking up Rotary and service to her. We also have today a classification talk by Michael Cox. Are you ready, Michael? Always ready.
Okay. Well, I'm supposed to start out by telling you all to be seated, but you're already doing that, so that's great. And don't worry about this, it's just keeping me on track, so I stay within 5 minutes. My name is Michael Cox. You can call me Michael, you can call me Mike, you can call me Coxie, you can call me Coxer, or even just Cox, but don't call me late for the Rotary Mixer every month, and don't call me late for my golfing tee time on Saturday. I'm number 4 in a lineup of 5 siblings. We're called Cox's Army when we grew up, because in those days you did everything as a family, and we kids were all about a month and a half apart. I mean, 16 months apart, so really close. It was quite a troop coming and going. Now, I have to confess I have a dirty little secret that I must share. Not many people know this about me. I confess I have a journalism degree from the University of Missouri. OMG, a journalist, really? Well, it's not that bad. In fact, the journalism I learned was a different kind of journalism that's practiced today. You couldn't even add one bit of flourish to the news. If a car crashed on the side of the road, you couldn't say that the out-of-control driver careened his car off the road, barely missing a tree. Nope, -2 in red ink. Everything was -2 in red ink. You could only say the car was found damaged on the shoulder of the road, according to State Trooper Smith. Straight facts and attribution. Talk about boring. That's why I went into the advertising side of journalism. My first job was a paid summer internship, providing creative and design for a small daily paper's progressive issue. Ads like the Mexican pistolero pointing his revolver at you and saying, "We know how to deal, we don't like no stinking roaches," won the day for selling ads to the Exterminator and many, many more. The Rolla Daily News had the biggest progress issue in years. So they hired me a year later upon graduation as the ad manager for their sister publication, the Fort Gateway Guide. It was next to Fort Leonard Wood Army Base in Missouri. And I'd never been on an Army base, and now I'm selling ads there. It was quite fun, especially pulling off the crazy full-page ads I threw together every week for the used car dealership that was right outside the gate of the post. I had Charlie of Charlie's Cars doing all sorts of things. He even dressed up as Rocky Balboa when the movie came out. Now imagine, I photographed the owner dressed up in boxer shorts, gloves, a white beater shirt, punching away high prices, you know? And then
he's lying out on the stretcher as he's knocked himself out from lowering the prices. That's when the bucket of ice came around the corner and hit him. That's the photo that was on the full page ad. It was a lot of fun, a lot of fun. But, and he didn't mind because he went from selling 30 to 90 cars a month. So you could almost get him to do anything. But I'll tell you what, it was fun, but it was a daily deadline. And in 1978, my sister and brother-in-law started a business magazine in South Texas, the Rio Grande Valley of Texas. I visited on vacation and said, yeah, why not? Why not? A monthly deadline sounded much better than a daily one. That was 40 years ago, and I've been in Texas since. I've been a sales production manager for a printing company, an award-winning creative director for an ad agency, and when the computer revolution hit printing and design, I jumped into business for myself and started the Creative Advantage. Computer-generated advertising and graphic design. It didn't matter, I'd never been behind a computer before. What could go wrong, you know? But actually I loved it. It was easy to pick up. The first computer I had a whopping 8 megs of RAM and 105 meg hard drive. It only cost $5,000 and was a racehorse Apple had at the time. Man, I've been rocking in the ad business ever since. I met my late wife, Marcy Urban, 35 years ago. She was a school teacher and an incredible copywriter for a radio station. She had 2 kids, 4 and 8 at the time we met. We added 2 more along the way. We moved to Georgetown 20 years ago to be near the first 2 kids who had grown up and moved to Austin via UT. Marcy taught 1 year in Georgetown and then started a real estate career. I was her marketing resource. About 7 years ago, I decided I'd learned enough real estate through osmosis that I might as well get my license. So I did. And now I do a little both, graphic design and real estate, but I'm really leaning towards the real estate side of things as I approach the looming reality of turning 65 one of these days. I figure I can sell homes till I'm 70 plus and just use a photo of me at 50 like everybody else in the business. So what can I say? I've never shied away from work, and since my first job at 15 years old, mowing lawns for the municipal parks at Jefferson City, Missouri, for $1.25 an hour. I'm ready to lend my skills and humor to pitch in for service above self with one heck of a great organization, the Rotary Club of Georgetown, Texas. Thanks for letting me join the team.
Yeah, just wanted to acknowledge that Michael completed his requirements today with this, and appreciate everything you've gone through and done, and the dimension you're going to add to our team. So here's your blue badge.
Great. I'll retire
We're running short of red ones, so I'm kind of pushing these guys through.
Thank you.
Okay, David, you had some announcements to make. You like my little graphic there?
Thank you, Karen. First, I want to introduce a guest who came on his own today. David Sanford, retired U.S. Navy, joined us last week, and then he joined us at our social last Friday night as well, and he's back for a second week. Welcome, David. Field of Honor is going great. Same with Patriots Ball. Got a lot of things, a lot of moving parts right now. One is we are selling Field of Honor polo shirts. They're going to be a different shirt and a different design on the embroidery. Randall's taking care of those today, as well as embroidered Field of Honor ball caps. There's a picture, or there's the actual cap over there. You can take a look at that. It can be billed to your account, so please order today. Next week will be the last week on the shirt order. This will be the only shirt order, so if you want one, make sure you place your order today or by next Friday. Give it to Randall. Caps, will have extra caps at the field in case you miss out on those. Towards the end of October, Wolf Ranch has kindly offered us an opportunity to make some more money for the Field of Honor, and that is at their Boo and Brew. They're going to have a roped off, separate area from their trunk and treat to serve beer to the general public. It's going to cost, and we get all the funds from the Boo and Brews. So just mark your calendar for that, October 27th. We'll need some help out there that evening. It's only 4 hours, if I remember right. And we can raise a lot of money that day alone. If you don't have your calendars marked yet for November 2nd, 3rd, all the way through the 12th, please do so. We're going to need a lot of help out at the field, setting up flags, assembling the flags. Those who did it last year will remember that. We'll be at the VFW Hall again. But we got a lot of things planned. We got a great opening ceremonies that's been developed and still developing, but it's going to be outstanding on the 4th. So mark your calendars for that. And I believe, did I miss anything, Jeannie? Is that it? Everything? All right, thank you.
And Allison, did you want to come up and talk to us a little bit about something else going on with Field of Honor?
This year we're selling ads in the program. There's about 2,000 copies of the program that are going to be printed and distributed. And ads in that program range from $100 to $500. So my challenge to you is to either buy an ad or find somebody to buy an ad. You all know people in the business community or individuals that would be happy to contribute, and this is something easy to do. I also am looking for a few people to help me sell ads. The more we can spread the word, the more money we can raise for Field of Honor and its associated charities. There are ad forms on your tables, and my contact information is on there. Thanks.
Okay, I think we had an announcement about the next blood drive that's coming up. Rodney, are you here? Did you want to make an announcement about that, or do you just want everybody put it on your calendars that we are going to have another blood drive? It'll be coming up on the 19th of October. I'll let you know ahead of time so you can get ready for that. Myra, did you want to talk about the next rent bills? Okay. Do you want to talk to the folks about it, or just make them aware? Okay. Our next rent bill is September the 8th, and then we'll have another one on the 13th. So if you all want to participate in that, let us know. And then Vanessa?
Hi guys, I just wanted to make you aware that today is the last day to purchase your raffle tickets to have a pie a month for a year provided by Alicia, and do yourself a flavor. And the person who buys the most tickets gets to pie the chief next Friday. Next Friday. It's gonna be amazing. Ma'am? Well, we have a tie going right now. Everyone purchased one set of tickets. Come on, guys. So I will be over there the rest of the meeting and a little bit after, so we can make it more of a race. We have 2 families in the lead. 2. I would like to see more. Next Friday. You have to be present to win.
What was that date? What was that date?
Next Friday. 7.
There's a list of people that cannot do it. They cannot.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that, right? Chief Nero, when he volunteered to do this, did give me a list of about 6 people that are not allowed to pie him. Guess who number 1 is?
Sullivan.
Guess who number 2 is? Who? Yeah, no, he was number 3. Corey.
Ron Swain has a question, Vanessa.
Yes, Ron.
How much would it cost me to take the lead?
If no one else bought, just you. About $100. That actually put us over $500 for raising money these last, 4 weeks. Pretty good.
Thank you, guys.
We will wait for that with anticipation. All right, next is Gerry. He's got some amazing Rotarians to recognize today, so.
Thank you, Karen. It's my pleasure to present several awards today. We had 11 to present, but unfortunately about 6 of them couldn't come due to prior commitments, so we have 5 to present, as far as I know anyway. There's a program on your table that documents all this. We'll take a minute to tell you about the Rotary Foundation. Formed in 1917, the initial contribution of $26.50. I'm assuming that's the amount of money you had in his pocket. It was $26.50 by a lot in 1917 compared to what it'll buy now. We're now up in the neighborhood of billions. The Rotary Foundation is one of the highest rated foundations in the world for the amount of good that they do around the world. One of their programs is eliminating polio, and they're almost succeeded in doing that. We have a health hunger program, and a number of other things as well. So to date, more than 1 million people, or individuals, have been recognized as Paul Harris Fellows. That's people who've given $1,000 to annual programs or have had that amount contributed in their name. Such strong support, along with Rotarians' involvement worldwide, ensures a secure future for the Rotary Foundation as it continues its vital work. So the money that you give to us, to the foundation, you may not know, comes back to the club 3 years later in the form of grants to be used for our charitable programs. So the more you give, the more we get back. There's a list in your program of the amounts we've given over the past years. We shrunk a little bit last year, and we'll hope to make up that ground this year. Julian, I'm going to save Ms. Hart till the end. So is Joanne Douglas here? Come on up, Joanne, and get your award. So Joanne is receiving a Paul Harris Fellow +1. The next award is for Rob Dyer. Rob, are you here? He called and said he had to take a child to the doctor this morning, so he didn't make it back. Gary Hertel, would you come up, please? Gary's moving to the Paul Harris Fellow +1 award.
Here, Gerry. Thank you.
Judge Stubblefield, would you come forward, please? Judge Stubblefield has gone to the Paul Harris Fellow +5 level. Jeannie McClellan, please come forward. Jeannie is a Paul Harris Fellow +6, which means she gets one ruby in her pen instead of 5 sapphires. Congratulations, Jeannie. So we have a special award to present, and Julian, would you come forward and introduce Ms. Corin Hart? Please come forward.
So this is a special award. It came about in a roundabout way for the club. The club was awarded an honorary Paul Harris for having the biggest attendance at last year's district conference. And so we were informed that at a board meeting, and the question was, well, what should we do with this, and who should we honor? And I did make the motion, and it was unanimously approved that Corin Hart, who is a teacher at Forbes Middle School, received that from our club because of the service that she put in last year for the Interact Club. We didn't, she wasn't the original teacher that founded that club, but at the very beginning of last year, the sponsor left the school, transferred to another place. And so we were left in midstream with a bunch of kids who had been active, and I don't even remember how it exactly happened, but the principal asked around who would pitch in, and Corin volunteered out of the goodness of her heart, and she's actually made it, honestly, a much bigger success than we ever imagined. I was talking to her today, and we had about 25 members last year, and they participated in many, many different activities, primarily 3 or 4 ramp builds, which is hard work, and the kids loved it and were actually very good at it. They either knew what they were doing or were very trainable. Plus a lot of work in the local animal shelter and many other projects in the school as well. So anyway, the club has decided to award Corin Hart with an honorary Paul Harris Day.
Thank you very much. That concludes the Paul Harris presentations for this quarter.
Okay, George Lourigan, I think you had some program information for us.
Thank you very much. And everyone, let's give Gerry a hand for the fantastic job he's been doing with the foundation chair. I truly appreciate him taking that over so that I don't have to worry about it anymore. There's some information that Gerry has put out several times, and all I'm doing is trying to reinforce what he's already put out. And several people were awarded today as a result of what's called a limited time offer with Gerry Johnson. Do you remember Gerry Johnson Fund is designed for those who've never reached a Paul Harris. However, for a limited time, they set aside $50,000, of which they've already used 30. That came from Rich K just this morning, of which they've already used 30,000 of it to encourage those who are already Paul Harris Fellows to get a match to bring them to the next level, okay? So the information is on 2 different flyers. The one with the picture on it is a standard program which still exists and will continue on and on. And the limited time officer, it says limited time at the top, and they're sitting on the table over there. So if anyone is interested in that, talk to Gerry, grab one of those flyers, and Gerry will tell you exactly how to make that happen. So my opportunity today is actually to talk about global grants. Global grants is something that came about several years ago. It's a change in the way the Rotary does grants on an international basis. And Our club is currently involved in some way, shape, or form in 4 global grants, and possibly 5. Okay, so what I want to do is kind of give you an update on what's going on in those grants. Okay, so the first grant up there, you see microcredit for women entrepreneurs in Ciudad Victoria, Mexico. As you know, over the years, we've been partnering with the folks in Ciudad Victoria, Mexico, and each year we do a grant, one down there and one up here. When the global grants came about, we ran into an issue. We planned a grant down there, first global grant we'd ever done, that they were in charge of it. They submitted it, came back from RI with more questions than they could come up with answers to. This is a completely new process, very, very difficult, not an easy thing to go through, and literally they in a sense, threw their hands up in the air. We don't know how to solve the problem. A team of about 6 of us went down there the next summer and said, hey, we don't want this relationship to die. We want it to keep going. And they said, well, who has the next grant? I said, well, is it fair to all concerned? We haven't done yours yet, so you have the next one. They said, well, we have one here for women entrepreneurs, a microcredit grant we'd like to do. So they gave that to me, we brought it back, submitted it in October of 2015, a couple of years back. Got it approved from district, got it into RI the next summer, came back with a bunch of questions. It would not have gotten into RI had it not been for Jeannie, a fantastic translator, because I did not speak or write enough Spanish to get me out of trouble. I guess that's probably the best way to put it. And she actually saved the day in getting the grant submitted. She also saved the day in helping them write answers to all the questions that came about. The grant was approved, and that's the grant has been going on and is currently ongoing. It's a 3-year grant, 3 cycles of loaning money out to women entrepreneurs and training them on how to run a business and actually create products. Okay, they're a year and a half into that grant. October 2016, we submitted to District a literacy grant that you see up there, literacy in Southeast Georgetown. Rob Dyer was in charge of that grant. Things are moving forward very well. Submitted it to RI by the next summer, just like the previous grant. Came back from RI with questions. Sounds great. We're going to turn those things in. We started to work on getting them done. They decided to change the MOU form. That's a memorandum of understanding. Well, the school district decided they didn't like the new form, and our major partner, the GISD school district, backed out. So we kind of stagnated on that one. And then so we started looking around for other partners. We found several other partners. Rob Dyer has become extremely busy with his new job and unable to actually head up that grant. So Ron Swain has agreed this past summer to head up that. And our goal is to actually have that back submitted to the RI sometime this fall so that we can actually get it going, approved and in place and operating by January. So it's been approved at district. Again, grants get approved by the club, the district, and then Rotary International, so people understand the basic sequence. So the next grant, bone marrow machine, Ciudad Victoria, Mexico. So remember, first one up there, microcredit, Ciudad Victoria. Second one, our choice. Third one, Ciudad Victoria's choice. They need a bone marrow machine. That entire area of Mexico has no bone marrow machines at all. It's like the state of Texas without a bone marrow machine. Give you a perspective on what that really means. So it's a very much needed project. So they're finishing that up, and I think Jeannie's also working with them on that and getting that done. They're supposed to have information for me to present to the district at their, I think it's the 13th of October, when they have a normal opportunity to say, here's what we really want to do. And so if that gets approved, then that will be the next grant in the sequence. The next one that the club has also approved that we are also working on, and you can do multiple ones at the same time, so it's not a problem, but we're trying to keep in line with, if we're doing something jointly with Ciudad Victoria, Mexico, they get the choice, we get a choice, they get a choice, we get a choice. So the next one is clean water in Guatemala. Now it's not here, but it's our choice for a grant. Stuart has spent 2.5 years now actually researching and coming up with the best product that make a really big difference there, and that has gone extremely well. Extremely well, as far as all the planning that he's put into it. And so this summer, when I was on a mission trip to, there we go. That's me on a mission trip. Okay, I was in Guatemala for a week, okay, and I'm actually helping there. In case you don't know, by trade, I'm an industrial arts teacher. Most people don't even know that, but that's why I do the woodworking and the ramp projects and that kind of stuff, because I'm actually an industrial arts teacher. So I'm taking a rough piece of wood there and turning it into a finished piece of wood so I can make cabinets for a women's dormitory on a mission. So I'm working, and the gentleman right there next to me, his name is Tomas. It's actually his cabinet shop, which is fortunately right across I say the street, but that's kind of a stretch of the imagination for the red clay road that it's on the other side of, that you can't even get a car down. So the street would be an exaggeration. But that's in just outside of Livingston, Guatemala. So we're putting those cabinets together for the women. That's what one looks like without the doors or the back on it. While I was down there, one of the things I was tasked with doing was doing the preliminary investigation and research on how to distribute these filters and where would they be used and whether people would be receptive to them in that area of of Guatemala. It's the Rio Dulce area, the area south of Belize. So we'll make sure we have time. So prior to going down there, I had coordination and met with and connected with the Rotary Club of Puerto Barrio. Did I say that right? Oh, close. If it were right, it would be a miracle. But that's an ad hoc meeting of about, I think there were 4 or 5 of them. The club is only 14 members. They're not quite as large as we are. But they're a very active club and love doing things. And so, and they, they're very interested in partnering with us on the project. So, we need a club in country to partner with. So that's one of the ones that, I talked with them. In fact, I brought that back a few weeks ago and gave to the club there as far as a banner. So here I am with that's what the bucket filter looks like. You've seen it here we had one that was in blue in color. That is actually the better color to use. So a lot of things learned in this process. That's what the bucket looks like. It's got the filter sitting on the side of it, and there I am. There we are actually distributing them. We actually distributed 50 buckets. One of the things is I talked to different organizations about what we were doing. People just donated money. Literally, they donated about $1,300, and I used those to buy filters to go down there and do a test to see how it worked, to see how receptive, to find out how everything would fit together. And there's a lot of little moving parts that Stuart and I have to sit down and talk about that make all this work right. But the result was, you can look in that one bucket that you can see the water in. That water is straight out of Lake Isabel. This village has about 46 families in it. Every family got a bucket filter and left one for the church and one for the school. The family, when they don't have, when it's not too dry, they bicycle about 1 kilometer, maybe 1.5 kilometers to a well where they get what they think is clean water. There is no clean water in this country of Guatemala unless you buy it. So just as a point of reference, it doesn't exist. They drink what they think is clean, which means it doesn't have as much floating things in it as the lake water does. Okay? And that's, those who've been to other countries understand exactly what I'm saying. It's very real. So that water in there actually came right out of Lake Isabel. So when it's during the dry season, the well is dried up. They get their water right out of Lake Isabel, and they're sick a lot of the time. A lot of intestinal problems and everything else go along with that. So I took that water there, put it in the filter, drank it. They drank it. They're excited, and they're we're following up with a nonprofit that we're working with down there to see what their reception is, see if they're really going to be using it. All of these things that are important because this is something that has to be done that's sustainable. The other part of it, as we learned, we also made connections with the Department of Health down there, with the Rotary Club down there, and lots of different moving parts. But it's real important in doing this to actually educate first. In fact, Rotary will not allow a water project to be approved unless education is at the beginning of the project. Now I'm going to kind of go through slides. These are families with their buckets. Ryan Eckert is actually teaching someone how to back flush it. Remember me demonstrating with the plunger and how to back flush the filter there? more people distributing. That's actually, my son was able to go with me. He's the one in the maroon shirt there. He was able to go with me on the mission trip. Another group shot. That's actually that's where they access Lake Isabel, and that's our boat where we brought the buckets in and walked over into the village. But the projects like this, Rotary projects that deal with water, will never be approved by Rotary unless they start with education. Because unless you teach people that the water is a serious problem, they're not going to change the way they live, the way they do things. It also requires a continuous ongoing education and follow-up to make all this work. So all of these are parts of the project that Stuart and I are going to work together to write up and make this a reality for the club. So any other questions? Any questions on this at all? Or what we're doing? I know this is very fast. Yes?
When will it actually happen?
That's a great question. So, yes, the question is, when will it actually happen? Okay? It'll be about a 3-year-long project. It will happen, the cycle is October, district approves it, approves all the plans that we have. We finalize the plans, submit them to RI, they approve it, and then it starts. Okay? It won't start before next summer for political reasons, and I'll get into that on a one-on-one basis later. You have to be involved in all these different things to make sure that you don't step on the wrong people's toes. It may start as early as next summer, or it may start, we may not get it written up and put in place for district approval, or district may not approve it this year, and it may be resubmitted to district next fall. Okay, so the key is submitting to district in October, which we may do. If we do submit it, it will be our number 2 project, because obviously the one for Ciudad Victoria is our number 1 project in our sequence of events, and Ciudad Victoria is also a part of this project, so that's why it would be our number 2 project, okay? Just to kind of give you the perspective and the sequence of events of what's going on with that. Great question. Anything else? Yes, sir. We got 30 seconds.
Very briefly, because I know we're almost out of time, explain the matching process and how the funding goes as to what we contribute.
Oh, absolutely, yes. So what happens is this, everything that you give, and this is the reason for this being done now, and thank you, Ray, for helping me not forget the most important part of this. The reason this is talked about right now is because everything that you give to the Rotary Foundation that you get recognized with a Paul Harris Fellow for comes back to the club for these projects. And normally more than we give. Statistically, we get lots more than we've ever given. So the way these are funded is the Rotary International matches us. The district gives us funds that again, it comes back. So 50% comes to the district and then goes to us. The other 50% comes directly from Rotary International once the project's been approved and puts it all together. And the club also puts funds in, and the Rotary International will also match those. And district has a way of actually doubling that, but I'll explain that to folks that need to know later on. So what really happens is when you donate to the Rotary International Foundation, you're making all these type of projects work for people all around the world and here in Georgetown. As you notice, I guess I got to the end, didn't I? It's not just around the world, it's right here in Georgetown. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much, Gerry. Thank you, George, for a wonderful program today. We're real proud of the new folks that have their Paul Harris. Thank you so much for your participation in that. Are there any other announcements for the good of Rotary? Don't forget about the tickets are over there with Elizabeth for tomorrow's game. It's going to be awesome, huh, Marissa? Yeah, thank you. Okay, if there's nothing else, if you would please join me in the things we think, say, and do. First, second, third, and fourth. Thank you. We're adjourned.